Welcome, my friends, to another edition of More Bad News, brought to you, as always, by Camel Cigarettes. Take the Camels Challenge, smoke Camels for 30 days, and see for yourself what a difference Camels can make in your life. You know, my friends, there was an article today in today's New York Times about Ozempic. It turns out that Ozempic is very popular among residents of Manhattan's Upper East Side, where the wealthiest and healthiest New Yorkers live, and where rates of diabetes are extremely low. We suspect that the drug is being used to facilitate weight loss among millionaires. The Times pointed out that among the residents of Brooklyn's Lower East Side, one of the poorest neighborhoods in the city where diabetes is rampant, Ozempic is nowhere to be seen. Now, what the Times failed to report, however, was that this is really a discrimination against camel smokers, against all smokers. There are many more camel smokers and smokers in general in Brooklyn's Lower East Side than there are in Manhattan's Upper East Side. So, my friends, let's stand shoulder to shoulder with our neighbors from Brooklyn, take the Camels Challenge, and see for yourself what a difference camels can make in your life. So you know by now, if you've been watching this show, that we believe that the end is near. And one of the axioms of the show is that everything that we ever thought we knew for sure, everything that we were positive was true, things that we simply took for granted, has turned out to be completely untrue, completely wrong. And one of the things that we have always taken for granted is that there will be a future. You have a past, a present, and a future. It's always been that way, and of course, it will always continue to be that way. But we know from studying infants and linguistics that in the beginning, there was only the present. For infants, there is no past or future. The infant first comes to learn of the existence of a past, and only after mastering the past and the present does the toddler begin to fathom the idea of a future. We have evidence from linguistics that this is true of language development as well. You have first a present tense, then you have the development of a past tense, and finally, a concept of a future that develops out of careful observation of the sun and the moon and the seasons. What we are witnessing now is the collapse of our sense of a future. And as our future shrinks, our present, and especially our past, come to occupy a much larger part of our reality. Well, my friends, it's been another week of very bad news. The BBC reported on Thursday that emperor penguins are headed for extinction. Tens of thousands of chicks have died because the sea ice that protects them is gone. You can actually see from the satellite there on the ice, there's a little brown spot where the king penguin, emperor penguin's colony was, and then you can see the ice slowly collapsing around them, and it just completely collapses before the chicks have a chance to develop their waterproof feathers. The penguins are sadly one of the most threatened groups of seabirds. Half of the 18 species are considered to be seriously endangered. And of course, it's not just the penguins. All Arctic life, from the polar bear to the sea lions, they're all facing extinction with the loss of Arctic sea ice. So the first wave of extinctions of large fauna that we are going to see is going to come from the Arctic, which is warming about 6 times faster than the rest of the planet. The Surgeon General also announced last week that there is an epidemic of loneliness, which apparently is quite unhealthy. Now, I don't particularly experience loneliness. I've really never felt lonely. I particularly like being alone. But I do have to remind myself that I'm not crazy. There's always been this disparity between my perceptions of reality and the consensus of the vast majority of my fellow citizens. COVID has returned with a vengeance this school year. Not to worry, it's only COVID, no need to mask or take any special precautions. We have a helpful message that we just got from our healthcare provider telling us that they have decided to get all masks are now optional in all their facilities. And they explained their decision came from 3 primary factors. One is that the number of COVID-19 inpatients has drastically declined across the state. 2, There are multiple effective ways to combat the virus, including vaccines and medical treatment. And three, the desire to restore that powerful human connection when patients and caregivers and loved ones can see each other's face. Now, in an effort to maintain my sanity, um, I follow the Reddit COVID long haulers discussion group. There's a COVID long haulers, one word, on Reddit. And from this morning's blog, I read, I got COVID in 2020 and developed vestibular migraines, tachycardia, vertigo, nausea, headache, pressure, fatigue, brain fog, disassociation, etc. Slowly, very slowly, these symptoms improved. Didn't go away, but they improved. And then in December of this year, I blacked out. They found that I had myocarditis. This was a year after the booster shot. In April, my heart symptoms worsened and I was given a heart biopsy. A month later, I developed pneumonia and I spent 10 days in the PCU with pleural effusions. I survived. But now something bizarre is happening to me and I'm afraid it's going to kill me. Beginning a couple of weeks ago, I would wake up with my heart pounding. The vestibular migraine symptoms have returned and I'm unable to sleep. As soon as I begin to doze off, my brain won't let me progress through sleep or I experience tremors. This went on for a week and then I had another daytime blackout. I was hospitalized and they did little for me in the hospital except make sure that I wasn't actively dying. My resting heart rate is elevated. My blood pressure is all over the place. I'm very shaky with tremors. I've already lost 5 pounds and it's hard to eat anything. My troponin test for heart damage at the hospital was double what it had been. I'm unable to concentrate on anything and I'm afraid that I'm going to start hallucinating or die from lack of sleep affecting my body. The short EEG at the hospital and the MRI showed nothing. Well, there you have it. There's no reason to worry about COVID because there are multiple effective ways to combat the virus, including vaccines and medical treatment, and there's that desire to see your face. Well, while it is depressing to read about the horrors of long COVID, I find it comforting to know that there is a reality out there and I'm not simply losing my mind. Well, that's going to have to be it for this week, a short week, I know. Hopefully, I'll be back again next week with more bad news. But until then, stay safe. Don't believe a word that they tell you about COVID. It's out there and it's deadly, so wear a mask. Till next week, take the Camels Challenge, smoke camels, and see for yourself what a difference camels can make in your life.